This is a Behringer SF300, and this is a Behringer HM300. And these, well, they're the best deals in guitar pedals going today. Today I'm here in sunny, my home studio, kind of self-quarantined, and I borrowed these pedals courtesy of myself. Well, whenever you have something that you can buy for so little money that nets you so much awesome tone, of course you're just going to go ahead and spend your own money on them. This pedal right here is $25 brand new. Yes, you can buy the SF300 for $25.
Well, not so fast. Most places actually are out of stock of this thing yet again, and people are charging ridiculous prices on Reverb yet again. I swear to you, I saw this thing brand new for $25 when I was filming, but of course things have changed, probably because of, coronavirus.
For some reason, the HM300 was a little more expensive. It was $28 new, but about $50 will get you both of these pedals. Now, what's the big deal about these pedals? Why do people like them so darn much? Well, the big thing about these two is that they are clones of a couple of old Boss pedals. The Boss FZ-2, specifically for this SF300 Super Fuzz, and the HM-2 for this HM300 right here. Now, these two pedals are really important for two different subgenres in the metal community. The FZ-2 and SF300 would be important to the Stoner Doom community, particularly because of the sounds heard on early Electric Wizard albums, like Come My Fanatics and Dope Throne. The Boss HM-2 and Behringer HM300 would be more important to the Swedish black metal scene, because it gets you that Swedish buzzsaw sound when you dime all the controls. Most people will say that the Boss HM-2 or Behringer HM300 is good for one thing only, diming all the controls and getting that Swedish buzzsaw sound. The thing is, though, that the HM2 was actually used by David Gilmour of Pink Floyd in the early 1980s. David Gilmour actually used a lot of fuzz and a lot of pedals we would think of as being more of the Stoner Doom genre, pedals like the Big Muff and pedals like the HM200, and used them for these wonderful kind of psychedelic soundscapes that Pink Floyd is known for. So today I'm going to take you on a tour of the Behringer HM300 and Behringer SF300. I'm going to tell you whether or not they're worth the $50. I'm going to go through them, go over their quirks and features, I'll plug them in, and for more of my thoughts on the Behringer pedals I'm holding in my hands, keep watching this video. So the first pedal I'm going to go over is this SF300 right here. This is the one that was nearest and dearest to my heart because the sounds of Stoner Doom are, of course, the ones I love the most. And if you watch the Orange OR120 video I've made or the Mad Amp video, that's pretty self-evident. So this was a big buy for me. This was important. Now the thing is about this pedal, occasionally the manufacturer stops manufacturing them. These were actually kind of hard to get for a little while. So the thing about the Behringer pedals is, as much as I love them, they are flimsy. They can break pretty easily because, well, they're made out of plastic. And it's not going to hold up like a Boss pedal is going to. So what you want to do, if you want to use one of these live, first off, buy two, because you may have one break. And the other thing you want to do is put this into a loop. If you have a couple of ABY pedals, if you have an effects loop that you use on your amplifier that isn't really being used for anything else, then you can run this through it. And that way you don't have to keep pressing on this pedal constantly and risk breaking it. So the first thing you're going to notice when you look at the front of this pedal, at least the first thing that I notice, is that it says Super Fuzz right here. Now the important thing to know about that is, since this is a clone of the FZ-2, for the most part, we'll get into that for the most part in just a little bit, that the FZ-2 was partly a clone of the old Univox Super Fuzz pedal, which is a really gnarly, nasty sounding kind of distortion. This has three different modes on it. It has this more mid-forward Fuzz 1 sound. It has more scooped mids, traditional fuzz kind of sound, very bass heavy, very powerful, very thick fuzz here in the center, and then it has a boost function here in the bottom. Now regarding Electric Wizard, apparently Juz Osborne has gone from using this Fuzz 2 to the boost function in recent years, like on Witch Cult Today and more modern Electric Wizard albums. Now, when I mentioned that this was kind of a clone of the FZ-2, I am referring to these center controls right here. Now, in terms of sound and functionality, yes, this is a clone of the FZ-2, but on the original Boss FZ-2 pedal, these two were actually a single concentric potentiometer, whereas on the Behringer, they have actually separated out the treble and bass into two separate pots. You have the level here and the distortion here, and then the switch over here is, well, on here a slider, on the original it was a rotary knob. And on the back, you can see here on the rubber pad that yes, it was designed by Behringer in Germany, but it is, of course, made in China. Now, the power supply is a 9-volt battery or the 9-volt in here on the side. I actually run this off of a battery, mostly because, well, I don't have a whole lot of Boss power supplies sitting around since I don't have any Boss pedals anymore. But this is functionally basically a Boss pedal. Now, if you're wondering how to actually get inside and replace the battery, this was something that kind of stumped me at first, and I like to try to figure it out without having to go into the instruction manual, but this is one of those times where I did have to go into the instruction manual. So I grabbed a pencil upon learning how to do this, and you push in that little indent here on the side, and it springs open like that. You do the same thing on the other side, and you can actually get in here to open the pedal. And you can see that there is a little space for your 9-volt battery. And this spring, by the way, isn't held in by anything other than the pressure of the pedal plate being pushed upon it. It does have a little stop right here. It's a little rubber stop, and it has some foam to hold the battery in place, but otherwise it's pretty bare bones. Now, in order to get it back on, it's just to reverse the process. Make sure that you have this little hole right here over top of the spring, so that it will line up properly. Push the thing back in there. And there we go. Now your pedal is put back together. Ideally, you would never really have to do this very much. You would run it off of a power supply, and then you would just have it on all the time. And it does remind you here on the back, as it usually does, to extend the battery life, make sure to disconnect the plug from the input jack when the unit is not in use. If the LED is dim or does not light during operation, replace the battery. Sounds like common sense. But of course, as always, my other favorite thing I always have to reference whenever I'm looking at any piece of gear, it tells you not to throw it away. On the top, however, it gives this little E symbol. Now, on the top, this little sticker was already here when I bought it, and I believe this is telling you that it can be recycled, which I guess it's a nice little eco-friendly kind of thing that they're telling you to do with this pedal. Don't throw it away, but put it in the recycling bin, maybe? Now, coming over here to the HM300, this is a much more straightforward clone of the Boss pedal that this is supposed to be a clone of, the HM-2. This is the, of course, heavy metal HM300. Now, I wondered why on earth they made the heavy metal pedal pink. The only thing I can think of is, well, there are two things actually. One, they ran out of colors, which is entirely possible. Or two, it's supposed to be a reference to Pink Floyd, because after all, the HM-2 is closely associated not just with Entombed and the Swedish black metal scene, but Pink Floyd. David Gilmour did use the HM-2 in the early 80s, back when Pink Floyd was Roger Waters-less, and I think that they may have done that because of David, but I'm not entirely positive. So as you can see here, just like on the other pedal, it has the little light here to tell you whether or not the pedal is on. Trust me, there is no question when the pedal is on. And it has all of the same controls that are on the HM-2. It has your level, your low, your mid, and your distortion. And as you can see, I have it set to the Swedish buzzsaw setting of absolutely everything being maxed out. Now everything else here is the same. You have the little recycling sticker. You have all the same warnings on the back to extend battery life. It's designed by Behringer in Germany, etc., etc. Same exact process for opening it up by compressing these two little things on the side. Now I will say, even though that this is plastic, and I really think that it's incredibly cheap feeling, which thankfully it is incredibly cheap to buy, I do like this little rubber pad that's right here on the front that has the Behringer logo all nice and embossed on here. It's actually one of the few kind of high quality feeling things about this. Of course, it is the only high quality feeling thing about this. Now there is an exterior difference I do want to point out here, and that is this warning right here. This sticker is not on the other pedal. It says use Behringer 9-volt DC power adapter as specified in the manual to prevent damage and loss of warranty, space, exclamation point. Now what's interesting about this phraseology is it's telling you not just to use a Behringer 9-volt DC adapter, but that you must use it as specified in the manual. Now I'm going to be honest here, I have no idea how else you would use this pedal with a Behringer 9-volt DC adapter other than plugging it in this jack right here and then turning it on. Is there something I'm missing, Behringer? Not really sure that warning was really necessary. The guitar I'm starting off with is my Epiphone Flying V. It has an EMG 81 in the bridge and an EMG 60 in the neck. It is tuned in C, and this is my clean tone. So, fairly clean. Alright, let's start off with the Super Fuzz. Everything to Unity. Fuzz 1. It's got a nice growl to it, but I want to turn the volume up a little bit here. So keeping all the controls at noon, we're now on Fuzz 2, and we're going to hear the difference. This should be a lot more mid-scooped. Yeah, that's pretty dang awesome. Of course, mid-scoop stuff always sounds great when you're in a room by yourself. Maybe the Fuzz one would be more useful in a live situation, but I really like how that sounds. And now we are on the boost feature. Man, there's a lot of volume gain there. Obviously, it's just meant to be exactly that, a boost. So now I'm using the boost feature for its intended purpose, boosting. So I've got the level all the way up, I have the gain almost all the way down, I brought the EQ up just slightly. This is going into an incredibly distorted amplifier. Going back to the Fuzz 1, we're going to start messing with the controls just a little bit here. So this is with the gain control set to just past 3 o'clock, back in Fuzz 1 mode. So let's mess with the other controls. I brought the level back to about 9 o'clock. Let's bring the level way up. And to show you how much volume is really in this pedal, I brought the level up to about 3 o'clock. And to show you how sharp the pedal can get, I have brought the treble up to about 3 o'clock as well. I personally like a sharper kind of fuzz, so that really appeals to me. Now let's really get rid of the treble and hear just how kind of muffled this fuzz gets. I've got treble back up to unity, and I brought the bass down to about 9 o'clock. Now that I've brought everything back up to unity, we're going to start messing around with Fuzz-2. So again, here is the bass Fuzz-2 sound with everything at unity. Here's the gain at about 4 o'clock. Now I've cranked up in the volume, as you can see, and I think we're really into Electric Wizard territory here. You know, I wonder, could I do the beginning of Funeralopolis? I've turned my guitar volume down to about 1, so let's see how well it cleans up. Yeah, we want to hear it again. We're going to see how sharp this gets with the treble turned up. And here's the treble scooped out. Here's the bass scooped out. Here's with the bass boosted. We're back in boost mode, and I want to see just how much gain is actually there in boost. I just gotta try it. Boost mode with level and gain maxed out. Well, now that my ears have stopped ringing, I'm going over to the HM300 and we're going to see how this thing sounds and everything's set to noon. Sounds like a distortion pedal. Now we're going to see how much volume is actually on tap here. Woo! That really brings it up a lot. A lot of volume on tap here. Getting closer to that Swedish buzzsaw thing. Oh. Well, we found stress ball's tone. Here's a setting I kind of like on it. I have the distortion pretty low. It's just around 9 o'clock, and then I have the mid up about 1 o'clock, the low around 11 o'clock, and the level is up around 1:30. Now I'm going to grab my Strat in just a minute. That thing's tuned to E. Before I do, there are a couple things I want to do with these pedals. Number one, I want to give you what you came here for with this pedal. I have to admit, the everything on 10 sounds pretty cool. So to show some of the versatility of this HM300 pedal, and I will get back over to the SF300 pedal, I've grabbed my Strat, which has EMG SAs in it. It has the Strat Presence control down here on the bottom tone control, and I have it plugged in through my Line 6 Helix. It's going through the Who What 100, which is basically the high watt 100 setting, and the only thing I have turned on is some transistor tape echo. Just to give it a little bit more Gilmore vibe. So we're going to play around with the settings a little bit on the HM300 and see if we can get some Gilmore-ish kind of tones out of it. Let's hear the Super Fuzz. It's interesting, it kind of takes on a univibe flavor. I have the control, volume control on the guitar backed off to about 3. The SPC is at about 1, tone controls all the way on, and this is in the in-between with the and this is in the in-between with the neck, and the pickups are in between on the neck and the middle. Now, as much as I love this pedal, I love the SF300, there's one thing it doesn't really do well with, and that is complex chords. It really is pretty limited when you have it set to fuzz to
So what do you think about the Behringer SF300 and HM300 pedals? Tell me in the comments, tell me some settings you really like and what you like to use them for. And of course, as always, stay obsessed with guitars, and I'll see you next time.